Wishful thinking, we all know this, but we as a studio like to practice the wishful doing. My studio is specialized in value chain design. So not only the final product we develop, but mainly also the raw material we select, upgrade, and then turn into a product. Indeed, this sustainability perspective is typically situated in the organic realm. We don't work with any synthetic materials. The recycling of plastic is very important. It's not something we do. We totally focus on the organic spectrum. We've been doing this for over 20 years, in many different fields. And we spend a lot of time currently on developing sustainable building materials. This is very important, CO2 reduction and full circularity. Today I'm going to show you 4 projects very quickly that kind of give the scope of what we do. One of the big things we work in is fashion. I won a Global Change Award from H&M in 2016 for the project I'm going to talk about. Fashion is a huge part of our basically raw material consumption. Of course, cotton is one of the biggest ones. And I'm going to ask you some questions. I do this every time I do this lecture. Who is wearing something second-hand today? Hands up if you wear second-hand. Oh, not a good score. Who is wearing something borrowed from a friend or whatever? Ooh. Who's wearing something that once belonged to his parents? What is it? Can you tell? Beautiful, very good. Who bought something specially for today? Oh, that's good. Who's wearing something that is already 5 years old? That's also good. All right. Well, so it's interesting. So the nice thing is, and not, you're all relatively young people, but the interesting thing is the younger the crowd, the more hands go up when we say second-hand or borrowed. I guess it just changed over time. The circular peak use of our fashion is one of the biggest problems. We need to really lengthen the use of the products we wear. Yes, you can buy new stuff. You have to just treasure it a little bit more. Cotton, however, is one of the big challenges. And cotton has, weirdly enough, gotten a bad name because it's supposedly, very toxic sometimes, people think, or it uses a lot of water, which is true, but it's also a beautiful material. And it's something that we should cherish and therefore use for a very long time. However, cotton is something I wanted to make an alteration on because I wanted to base it. So cotton is made from cellulose, right? 90% cellulose. Mother Nature creates this perfect fiber. But if you can extract cellulose from any other product, any other plant on this planet, you could use that cellulose to make an artificial cotton, which is something I tried. So I just have this beautiful picture, and typically in China, this is a horror scenario, all the beaches filled with algae. For me, this is, as an algae farmer, this is pure, gold. There's so much material here that I could work with. So what we did in the studio is we took the cladophora, which is a specific algae, which has a lot of cellulose. We kind of made it into small bits, and we used enzymatic separation to separate the cellulose from the rest. You can separate cellulose in many different ways. Lyocell, perhaps, or that is an artificial cotton that's already on the market, and they use other chemistry to extract the cellulose and then to dissolve the cellulose and spin a beautiful little filament that is exactly comparable to, Tencel is another one, by the way, comparable to cotton. So we changed that a little bit. We wanted to reduce the chemistry pressure, the toxic chemistry pressure on that product, so we did an enzymatic separation, which worked really well. So when you have the cellulose extracted, you can dissolve it with NMMO. We use chemistry. If you're interested, I can tell you. It's a circular system, and basically it becomes dissolved, and then you can press it out of a pasta press, basically, but then very tiny. And you get all little filaments, and then you can make that into, this is artificial cotton. It looks exactly the same. So that's a problem, right? So I'm like, I won an award for making textile from algae. At the end of the day, this is it. It's very boring. It just looks like cotton. It doesn't smell like algae, or it's not green. It's just a cotton replacement. Now, at the end of the day, after many years of doing this project, I came to the conclusion that it was not a very good idea. Because there is so much cellulose around us, why would you use cellulose from the sea? There is really no need. However, and that's why I introduced to you the first design parameter, which is going to be the LCA, the Lifecycle Assessment. All product development in the future, how the life cycle assessment of a product is going to be crucial for basically whether you should design that product or not. The life cycle assessment is the total energy consumption of a product from raw material to use and after use, and that's accumulated in a number, and you want that to be as eco-friendly as possible. So the beautiful thing about cotton, artificial cotton made from algae, is that it's so different when it comes to water use, energy use. So this is the perfect LCA. So if I make my cotton from algae, it's for sure 100% the most sustainable alternative cotton that there is on the planet, which is important. Otherwise, too expensive, not happening for a long, long time, but it's there, so who knows, one day we can do this. Another project I did is, well, you know this picture about Holland, right? It's our pride and joy, 23,000 hectares every year of tulips that we grow, a big part of our industry, and also one of the big polluters, because this is a monoculture. There is nothing else but tulips here, which sounds beautiful, but it's not really. There's a lot of water use, etc., but it's beautiful. This is me in one of these fields. This is me actually working in 2016. When I started this project, I harvested 1 hectare of these tulips. Why did I harvest them? Because actually the flower is waste, because they don't grow these tulips for the flowers, they grow them for the bulbs. The flowers you would buy in the store in Holland, the tulips, are actually from inside aquaponics. They grow on water. They don't grow in soil. They grow on water. These bulbs are basically, the bulbs are cut off at the end of April in order to preserve the energy in the bulbs, and it can grow through, and then in July you would harvest the bulb. Well, this is an interesting waste stream. You know, you have 50 different species, 50 different colors, and the only thing they do is cut it down and leave it there, which is, I thought was weird. So this field you see is actually the field of an organic tulip farmer. There are 2 in Holland, 2 who work fully organic. Their problem is that their yield, the revenue from the tulip, is a little bit lower because they can't use all those, you know, amazing pesticides to basically optimize the growth. So they have to work with less income. So I thought, let's design something for them. Let's take out these tulips. This is me again. I hired a special machine, for a machine that's used in a different area of agriculture, to harvest these bulbs. And this year, last year May, we harvested 6 hectares, which about 15,000 kilograms of tulip heads we sorted with a machine like this. It was a big operation. And we dried them at the farmer's place with his own solar roof drying facility. And then what we did is we all made it into a very fine powder, super fine powder. And the reason I did this in 2016 is because my studio initiates this creative process by itself. We don't need any commission. So this was a self-initiated process. Now, last year, there was a big fashion brand that says, okay, we want to implement this, and we want to try and make this work actually in fashion. So they commissioned me to harvest 6 hectares and to do this on a large scale. So that project is done now. The pigment is actually at a factory, the color is being extracted. And the cool thing about a tulip is that because the color is genetic, every year the color is the same. So how cool is that every year you get the same raw color from your field? So this is, I think, and we have a kilo price because this is also a business case. As if you want to design a value chain, business is leading, so you have to make sure that it's affordable. So now, with this large-scale version, we've been able to deduct a kilo price. So we did this, staining, textile coloring. This is a little clip. I'm trying not to talk. It's 2 minutes. I just think it's beautiful. Here is actually a machine that was used 50 years ago, because 50 years ago they couldn't leave the tulip in the field because it would cause fungus. Now they solved this problem with pesticides. So now they don't have to take it out anymore. So we retrieve that machine from storage and basically, oh, that's interesting. So basically, this is actually the machine they use normally. You see it just goes fast and the tulips are just dispersed everywhere. We put that in the clip as well to see what a conventional product is. And on the other side of the field, we were cherishing every bulb. Because every bulb is about 1 gram of pigment. So I think we had about 1.5 million tulips this year. So that's a substantial 1,500 kilograms of it. It's a big operation. We do this together with the farmer. He's done this this is his first time as well. So it's fantastic to do this, and they're very engaged. And this is my team. So we have some very smart, handy people as well helping out. And this is the red, beautiful red. Just look at the amount of material that's there, and it's waste. It's just so strange. It's my girlfriend on the back of the machine. Very cool. You see how that's where we are. It's such a big field. Look at that. And that's precious gold to me. So the kilo price at this moment is around, wholesale price for the farmer is about 8 euros per kg. So that's it. I'm going to push on because I want to give you another design parameter, greenwashing. So this is a thing. So actually what I'm doing with the pigments is greenwashing. Because the problem in our colors is not so much the pigment, it's much more the fixation of the color. So how to keep something that orange. I'm actually colorblind, so it's orange, right? Orangey. So to keep that color, that's actually the most difficult thing. So this fashion brand I'm working with, they actually have the technology of sustainable fixation, and that's why we merged. Selecting your partners in this business of nachhaltigheid is very difficult to make sure you have the right people. But greenwashing, and I implore you, it's a very important part of this sustainable transition. It's not only a bad thing. It gives us as consumers basically a playing field of good and bad. We can basically find out whether something is good or bad because some idiots do this. This is Shell, and Shell said if you pay 1 euro cent for every liter, the whole world is going to be CO2 neutral. So these kind of things, 4 or 5 years ago, this would be perfectly fine. We would be very happy, but now this is obsolete. And that's because we kind of see through as a consumer that even though we have been greenwashing and we will be greenwashing, we increasingly increase our vocabulary and knowledge about products. So it's not only bad. How am I on time? That's okay. I have actually a lot of samples that I want to show around. Okay, but we can't due to COVID. So afterwards, if you sanitize your hands, you can touch the sample, sanitize again, etc., and then you can have a look. Huis Veendam is another project. This is about starch, potato starch. From the peels of the potato, we extract the starch, we mix it with the potato peel itself, and we produce what we call a biolaminate. And I have those with me. And biolaminates we produce full size, but these are basically just fully ecological, you could eat this, don't, but you can, starch-based HPLs. So it's kind of to replace the HPL, the high-pressure laminate on your tabletop. We made all beautiful decorative versions, and this is the first one. And in 2015, I designed a full library of fibers, about 300 different types, to show the beauty of nature in relation to this sustainable starch. We turned it into a big company, it works quite well. This is what we did for Arles, Atelier Luma, in the south of France, where the last building of, what's a famous architect? Okay, I lost the name, doesn't matter. We did that. We did presentations in Milan with Atelier Luma. We did the Dutch Design Week. And this is what I want to say about that, love thy farmer. Because all the materials we use are agricultural waste streams. And it's interesting to realize that farmers in the future are not going to be responsible for our food, but also going to be responsible for every product we are going to sit on, work with, from the shell, from the seeds to the table. Everything is going to be composed of either biopolymers from waste streams or fibers from agricultural waste streams. So it's very important to realize that the farmer in the future is going to have a very important part in everything we do. Last project, and then I'm good on time, is actually a long-lasting project called palm leather. This is something I started in 2010 when I was inspired by this leaf. which is the husk, the shell around the palm tree, which you could see in this one, that is dried from the areca palm tree. So not from the palm oil tree, this is a different tree. The first monkey is about 1,000 kilometers down, so the orangutan. So we are not killing, with this project, we're not killing orangutans. This beautiful material is what Mother Nature has designed basically to beautiful fibers aligned. And what I did with this material is that I designed a solution of water and glycerin, very simple, to soften this leaf and to make products. So that leaf, of course, is very dry and brittle, but when we are ready with it, it's flexible, and that's why we call it palm leather. And again, usually I would pass this around. I will not do so, but afterwards you could always have a look and have a feel, and feel how this rough, brittle leaf actually becomes very flexible. And then we designed these sandals with it. The first thing we designed are these little chapels, as they call them in India. And this was basically an answer to the little white sandal you get in hotels. You know that one? It's the world's worst product. Because it's there, in plastic, of course. It's actually made of 6 different materials: cardboard, cotton, polyester, EVA, all sorts of things are in there. It's super cheap, impossible to recycle, and the worst thing is you'll probably use it for 1 hour, and then you're just tossing it away. So if from now on, with this story in mind, never ever use that again. So this was my answer: fully compostable product, very nice. Didn't succeed, didn't do very well, because that one sandal I just talked about is 30 cents. This one is €2.50, so that is a big gap. But it was an interesting project to make a fully compostable sandal. It also made us work with O'Neill, a large company, and they are neoprene, plastic, rubber. And they asked us, can we use palm leather to greenwash soy to make a beautiful product with? And I said, yes, let's do that. And the reason I wanted to do that is because if you get a chance as a designer, instead of standing in a gallery with your beautiful product, applauding yourself for being so nachhaltig, try working with the big guys and see whether you can generate any sort of impact in the actual industry. So this was my opportunity to produce 2,000 of these sandals, but they have rubber and EVA in it, and even leather, these idiots. So I said to them, you can't brand this as sustainable, because it's not. So it was me shouting as David to Goliath, you know, don't call this, don't do greenwashing, and they actually agreed with it. So this product, even though it was a fantastic collaboration and a great experience for me to learn more about industry, I'm so happy that they didn't brand it as sustainable. Nowadays we make rugs, which is also very cool. We have our own factory in India. It's producer-owned, and what I do is product development for that factory. So now we make large carpets, rugs, or wall cladding from the same leaf, but then chopped in little strips. And we make all sorts of patterns or straight. And this product does very well. It's just another possibility for the material. You see here a rug as well. And I want to finish with this slide because this is ultimate for me. I won the PETA award, PETA UK. PETA is animal rights activist organization, and quite vocal when it comes to animal treatment. And I was surprised, they gave me unannounced, they gave me this innovation award for the most vegan product. I mean, I was never a vegan designer, I was a sustainable designer. But apparently, of course, I'm also a vegan designer in some of these products, and this is one of them. And the reason I put this on is because this is my LinkedIn post, right? Being very happy, saying, I won. Of course, to get a lot of thumbs up, which is in this column, so everybody says, good job, good job. And there's one guy, Frans van den Heuvel, it's a Dutch guy, he calls himself pensionado, so he's a little bit of age, and he basically goes to town. He thinks it's ridiculous, it's just crap, it's not as good, it's just another guy trying to sell you a greenwash story. And I was fascinated by this, because the full explanation is right there. So exactly, we can tell him exactly what's in the product. And we have done all the tests. This is a certified product. This is not just an artistic expression. And I checked into it, and I thought, let's check his likes, because this is me liking my friends. But he got like 13 likes. And I'm just wondering, who are those people? And if I check this is all the leather industry. So this is all the conventional industry trying to push back to an unavoidable transformation of what we're doing. And it's just fascinating to see that this happens still. And actually, these people are not really woke, because it's happening, this transition happening. A lot of these products are not going to be around anymore. So veganism is definitely at this moment the big ism, and it's something that we should definitely engage with for sure. Thank you very much.